I'm going to use the computer to help us translate a little bit. Your COVID test was positive. Do you know that? Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Your headache and your cough?
Yeah.
So all that is coming from your COVID infection.
A doctor breaks the news. This woman has COVID-19. At this point, they don't know how bad the infection will get. This uncertain, frightening moment happens more than 5,000 times a day in this country. Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang.
Tonight, we're on the front lines of the second wave.
Just your tank is empty, and it's harder this time.
We go back inside Toronto's Humber River Hospital to witness moments of despair and hope, and the fight to stay on top of surging infections as the ICUs fill up.
As we expect, quite bluntly, the hospitalization numbers to go up.
As cases surge in Alberta, CBC News has learned the province is asking Ottawa for field hospitals.
Also tonight, the beginning of the end in the UK.
It is the protection of vaccines that will ultimately allow us to reclaim our lives.
Plus, your questions.
What percentage of the population will need to take the vaccine in order for it to be effective?
We reconvene our virtual town hall. This is The National.
If you can't stop COVID-19 out in the community, you fight it in the hospitals. It comes down to how many sick people you can keep alive at one time. Later tonight, we will go back inside an ICU we visited in the first wave to see the reality now, up close.
But first, Alberta's call for help. CBC News has learned the province is turning to Ottawa and the Canadian Red Cross as they confront a crisis in the making. Now, Alberta's epidemic has been a case study in exponential growth. In October, newly reported infections went from around 150 a day to 500 a day. Then, over the past month, they tripled again to nearly 1,500 a day. The flood of seriously ill patients into hospitals has followed a similar frightening trajectory. If it continues, Alberta will need to find hospital beds faster than the pandemic fills them.
So that has prompted its government to reach out for federal help to build field hospitals. As Carolyn Dunn explains, officials say this is just about preparing just in case.
Alberta already has one COVID field hospital, which only came into use this fall. But with hospitalizations and ICU capacity stretched and in some cases overflowing, tonight it's asking for help so that it's ready to build more. As CBC News first reported, Alberta has asked the Red Cross about providing 2 field hospitals and the federal government about 2 more, if and when existing hospitals are overwhelmed. The Premier says it's for contingency planning, not needed immediately.
While there are about 16 hospitals under significant stress right now, and a lot of healthcare workers are exhausted, the reality is that we have and can continue to create capacity. As we expect, quite bluntly, the hospitalization numbers to go up, given the new cases in the last few weeks.
Public Safety hasn't received a formal request from Alberta yet, or any other provinces and territories. Both federal and provincial sources say discussions so far do not include any plans to staff the field hospitals, a concern to those who have been raising alarms about healthcare capacity.
I do have concerns about our ability to staff 4 field hospitals in the province. We are already very stretched thin with the staffing we have available for the hospitals that we have right now.
There is some flexibility left in the healthcare system by canceling surgeries, for example, and redeploying qualified staff to COVID care. But the bigger concern from some doctors is what expanded medical capacity will do without tougher public health restrictions.
This basically means that our health system is inevitably going to be overwhelmed, and the fact that the province is asking for federal intervention for field hospitals but has not instituted a lockdown is completely negligent.
So Carolyn, just to be clear, the Premier and Health Minister seem very clear that these field hospitals are just for contingency planning. But when does this turn into action?
Well, Adrian, so Alberta Health Minister Tyler Shandro is meeting with his federal counterpart tonight, as a matter of fact, trying to hash out what's needed and when. And after that, it's really up to the province to put in a formal request. Now, we don't know when that's going to happen, but what is nearly certain is that the number of ICU admissions and hospitalizations is going to rise in Alberta in the coming days.
All right, Carolyn Dunn in Calgary tonight. Thanks, Carolyn.
Now, Alberta's surge has British Columbia's top doctor warning against non-essential travel.
This includes within BC and between provinces. And we know, if, for example, there's a hockey team in the interior that traveled to Alberta and has come back, and now there are dozens of people who are infected, and it has spread in the community.
BC's caseload does continue to grow. The province reported 834 new infections today, with an additional 12 deaths.
There's no question that many Ontario hospitals are under stress right now, but to say that they're in crisis is not the case. Alberta is in crisis when you have to have double cohorts in a single intensive care room. That's a crisis. We are not at that stage.
Ontario's health minister adamant as the province registers more than 1,700 new cases. 656 people are in hospital due to COVID-19 in Ontario, double the number there last month. Quebec added 1,514 new infections. That's its highest single-day case count since the start of the pandemic. A new crackdown on holiday shoppers will begin on Friday with a limit on store and mall capacity. Officials say overcrowded stores could be shut down, with everyone inside facing thousands of dollars in fines.
All of this underlining the urgent need for a vaccine. Right now, the UK has become the first Western country to approve one. Pfizer just got the nod from health officials, but Renee Filipponi tells us being first comes with its own concerns.
On the day England emerged from its second national lockdown, there was hope in the news.
It is the protection of vaccines that will ultimately allow us to reclaim our lives.
The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine got the green light from UK regulators, who reviewed clinical trials that showed it was 95% effective. It's the first Western vaccine to get approval.
Separate teams have been working in parallel to deliver the most rigorous review of this vaccine. No corners have been cut.
Doses are being boxed at the manufacturing facility in Belgium. Hundreds of thousands will arrive in days, with millions more to come after. It will be offered first to the elderly in care homes and staff, followed by people over 80 and health workers. Each person will need 2 jabs.
This is phase 1 of the program. In phase 1, we hope that 90 to 99% of people who are at risk of dying from COVID-19 will be included or covered.
But it needs to be stored at minus 70 degrees, which is creating challenges for mass inoculation. The government admits it's still working on solutions. The UK approval has been characterized as hasty by European regulators, who plan to make their decision later this month. And the speed has created some skepticism the government is trying to counter. Today in London, there was guarded optimism.
I'd probably let them test it on a few other people first, just to make sure it's safe. I have no qualms whatsoever. I don't see any other scenario for people if we're to return back to a normal circumstance.
The government warns a return to normal is many months away. A mass vaccination program will take time, which means there are still some dark months ahead in the fight against COVID. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, London.
Now, Canada's health minister responded to the news out of the UK today on Twitter, calling it encouraging. She said Health Canada's review of the Pfizer vaccine should be completed soon, and that making sure a COVID-19 vaccine is safe before approving it is Health Canada's priority. Pfizer's is one of 4 vaccines now in Health Canada's approval pipeline. Those approvals could start coming as early as the end of the month.
Well, in the global race for a vaccine, one significant group is being almost completely ignored. Children can't use vaccines developed for adults without separate trials. Christine Birak tells us why and explores the implications for you when kids are at the back of the line.
This is a COVID-19 vaccine trial. 16-year-old Caitlin Evans was the first participant in Pfizer's COVID vaccine trial for children. Since early October, others as young as 12 have enrolled.
And you're all done.
No COVID vaccine can be widely given to kids until it's tested on them. Their immune systems are more active than adults, often prompting stronger reactions. But few companies are currently conducting trials. Moderna just announced it plans to start testing its vaccine doses in children next year.
I think it's very important to be able to study this vaccine or these vaccines in children because kids are not just small adults.
Children aren't a small player in this pandemic either. They're a fifth of Canada's population. And while they only make up around 1.4% of COVID hospitalizations, they account for over 15% of cases. That's more than 50,000 infections. Studies have also shown kids older than 10 are just as likely as adults to infect others.
Many pediatricians are advocating strongly to have children included in these vaccine trials.
While it's normal for vaccines to be tested for safety and efficacy in adults first, at the current pace, it's not clear when a vaccine will be ready for kids.
I'm curious why. Why have they waited and not done studies yet for children?
Amazing. Good job.
Lindsay Noon has 3 children under the age of 5. She and her husband are both teachers. They acknowledge the social and psychological toll this pandemic is taking on kids, but
I want them to definitely dissect everything that needs to be done to make sure it's safe.
Drug makers insist vaccines for kids will be thoroughly tested, but it's almost certain they'll be going back to school next September without a vaccine. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
And one more thing on vaccines. There were so many questions from you that we couldn't get to last night in our virtual town hall that we've decided to try to answer as many more as we can. Our doctors will join us a bit later.
Starting Friday, Quebec will limit the number of shoppers in its stores. Some big retailers in Ontario's lockdown regions, Toronto and Peel, want those same limits. A group of them has appealed to the province to open all stores at a reduced capacity. Jacqueline Hansen now on their request and the response.
Locked down and fed up.
By closing non-essential retail, they've created a financial catastrophe.
Today, a plea to Ontario's premier to end the lockdown.
Public safety is critical, but retail, non-essential retail and retail in general was not the problem.
Nearly 50 retailers signed an open letter, including execs from the Bay, Canadian Tire, IKEA, and Roots. They argue the lockdown hasn't reduced the number of people shopping, but funneled them into fewer spaces, including stores outside the lockdown zones. The CEO of Aldo Shoe Chain says the government tried to strike a balance, but got it wrong.
We really believe that with capacity restrictions, we can keep people safe.
The letter asked the Premier to open all retail in Ontario with a 25% capacity limit on non-essential retail. But the Premier didn't budge.
I put my business hat on, I'd switch those things open in a heartbeat, but I can't.
Ontario's Minister of Health says it's about limiting potential contacts.
If people are going from shop to shop and so on, it's just more opportunities for the virus to be transmitted.
The stores themselves aren't necessarily a problem.
And if you're able to ensure that people are keeping their distance and they're wearing masks and adhering to all of the different public health measures, there's nothing, I don't think, inherently risky about these small retail shops.
But keeping them closed gives people fewer reasons to go out.
Don't want people to be leaving their houses unless it's for essential reasons.
If that's the government's goal, then they should just close down highways and impose curfews.
He wants all retailers to have a chance to survive safely. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, COVID-19 continues its spread across the globe today, closing in on 64.5 million total cases. The World Health Organization has also tightened its guidelines on masks. Where there's poor ventilation, it's recommending the general public wear masks even if they're able to physically distance. Now, India has one of the highest case counts of COVID-19 in the world. Only the United States has more. But while the number of daily cases has been dipping, India still has a total of nearly 9.5 million confirmed infections. And that has had dire consequences for many of those people who are already most vulnerable, children. Salima Shivji shows us how.
The bustle of New Delhi's railway station, even in slower COVID times, is the perfect cover, a breeding ground for child traffickers. This young boy tried to get away from his captors, one of them his own brother. The social workers patrolling the platforms hear that often. Desperate families with no other options.
We can't say anything to them. They are vulnerable, marginalized people.
This child helpline is busier these days. COVID-19 has made an already desperate situation much worse. These two boys, picked up at the same train station, don't want to be here. They feed lie after lie to the counselor trying to help them. Until the bravado breaks. The terror of being sent back home with no money, too much for him.
It's a very much probability that they have come for work. Since schools are locked down and nobody is studying.
In India, it's illegal for children under 14 to work unless it's in a family business. But that law is powerless to protect so many in this country.
Particularly in a pandemic that has wreaked havoc on India. A swift and severe lockdown abruptly shut schools, leaving children with nowhere to go, pushing the poorest and most vulnerable to the edge. Rescue homes like this one try to teach basic skills to children who can't return to their families, anything to help them escape crippling poverty.
I prefer to call nowhere children. They are not on the radar. They are not visible. Visible means they are not accounted for.
For the parents of these children now in the hands of child welfare authorities, it's also a struggle. Out in the hallway, Poonam tries to catch a glimpse of her 3 older boys, detained while begging on the streets a month ago. The lockdown was the worst time she's ever been through, she says. Her husband, an addict, had already left the family. They were all starving, living on less than 3 cents a day. She gets only a few short minutes with her sons at a distance, but that's enough. She doesn't want them back. Convinced this is the only hope they have of surviving. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Delhi.
And the streets of Delhi have been taken over by tens of thousands of protesters over the last week. Farmers livid with new laws they say will make it easier for companies to exploit millions of agricultural workers. They've been met with police blockades and some violence. Greg Rasmussen shows us they have support from Canada.
Hundreds gathered to show their solidarity with farmers battling the government in India.
The green is everybody going to be wearing today, that represents the land, that represents the fields, that represents the crops, that represents the farmers that are on the streets asking for their rights.
This was just a pure outpouring of emotion of people. Most of our families, our cousins, our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, for many people here, are actually sitting on the front lines in Delhi right now. So it's a very deep connection to us.
Tens of thousands of farmers have taken to the streets in India, met by water cannons, police blockades, and tear gas. New laws deregulating the sector passed by the Indian government in September sparked the protests. Farmers fear the removal of guaranteed prices and other free market moves will destroy small landowners. This farmer vows protests will continue, saying, "Accept our demands. If you don't accept it, we will continue the agitation." This week, Canadian opposition leaders and the Prime Minister voiced their concern.
Canada will always be there to defend the right of peaceful protest. We've reached out through multiple means directly to the Indian authorities to highlight our concerns.
India's External Affairs Ministry said comments from Canadian leaders were ill-informed and unwarranted, especially when pertaining to the internal affairs of a democratic country. About 1.4 million Canadians have their roots in India. Gary Saran's family runs this farm.
The smaller farmers get destroyed, their livelihoods get impacted, they fall further into debt.
He says protests here give an emotional boost to family members on the front lines in India. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Surrey.
Well, the federal government says it will not meet its March 2021 deadline for ensuring all Indigenous communities have a clean water supply.
While there have been many reasons for the delay,
I want to state as clearly as possible that ultimately I bear the responsibility for this, and I have the responsibility and the duty to get this done.
The Indigenous Service Minister pledged an additional $1.5 billion to finish the work on the Liberals' campaign promise. The Trudeau government has lifted 97 boil water advisories, but 59 still remain. Well, a team of CBC journalists has been deported from Uganda. 1 month before that country's elections, we're going to show you what our team saw on the ground.
Plus, we return to the front lines of the COVID crisis.
Your tank is empty, so you keep trying to muster up some of that energy that you had the first time around, and it's harder this time.
What's different for healthcare workers and patients during the second wave?
And later, why Canadians are buying more Christmas trees than ever before.
I've been doing this for 35 years, and it's the first Christmas we're not going to have Christmas trees.
A very 2020 problem. We're back in. Well, the CBC's Margaret Evans was supposed to be in Uganda this week, covering the violent clashes which have already marred an upcoming election. But she and the crew of journalists with her were deported. It does not bode well for the transparency of those elections. Margaret Evans has more on the tense situation she experienced firsthand.
Kampala, the Ugandan capital, and an election on full display. Even a candidate sailing along the street, entourage in tow. It looks like any other healthy election, but it's not. That's presidential hopeful Bobi Wine, accusing the police of trying to kill him. He says his campaign car came under fire, and not for the first time.
Yesterday, we survived death. The military, after blocking us and after diverting us to a remote road, they followed us and they shot at us.
The musician turned politician has been arrested twice since the start of the campaign, the government accusing him of flouting COVID-19 rules on large gatherings. Wine's second arrest sparked widespread rioting. Security forces accused of shooting at least 54 people dead. This is the man to beat, the old man in a hat, they call him. Yoweri Museveni may look grandfatherly, but critics say he's managed 34 years in office by playing tough. Wine poses a new kind of threat.
Young people having somebody who can rally them in the political direction or make this a risky election for President Yoweri Museveni.
Wine supporters call him the ghetto president, a moniker he wears proudly. He grew up in the slums and wrote songs about it.
I am not a son of a minister. I am not a professor. I am not any high-class citizen. I am here to represent the common people, the ghetto people.
Critics question his ability to transcend cult hero status, but he has bigger hills to climb first, a veil already being drawn across the election campaign.
The outskirts of one of Uganda's best.
We were expelled from the country last week, even with government-issued media credentials, and local journalists covering wine can face both arrest and attack. Fear is there will be more blood on the streets in the days to come. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
When we come back, what the second wave looks like from the front lines.
There are some people that don't really think COVID will affect them. They're shocked.
Doctors face down COVID fatigue. We take you inside a Toronto hospital for a look at the challenges this time around. Welcome back. Tonight, 183 people are in intensive care in Ontario. The province's latest modeling says no matter what we do this month, that number will surge past 200 and could even top 250. So how will hospitals cope? Well, early in the pandemic, when we first worried about capacity, the National got access to Toronto's Humber River Hospital to meet some of the first patients with COVID, see medical staff working through their fears. We were invited back inside during the second wave when COVID still manages to sometimes surprise and always exhaust. It's now full. Technically, the ICU at Humber River is over capacity. Younger, sicker, and just more patients than they've seen before, but they're making do. No more panic over supplies of PPE, they have it. And for some of the sickest, there are now options. Steroids, newly approved remdesivir. The 60-year-old man on a ventilator needs all of it.
He rapidly declined within a couple of days of coming into hospital and went from needing high flow oxygen to within 12 hours needing to be intubated and ventilated. So he was quite sick, and he doesn't have any other medical histories that we're aware of.
To give his lungs a chance, they turn him onto his stomach to help distribute oxygen. They're doing this more often now. COVID's teachings are daily. Now the hospital's ER lead on the COVID response, Dr. Tasleen Nimji, was at the sharpest end of the crisis in the first wave.
Does this make you nervous, this moment?
Yeah, it's a very stressful moment. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous.
Then, when we first watched her, COVID was new, a bit mysterious, so fear raged. With time, there's less anxiety, but now a crushing fatigue.
We'll start the case with everyone out of the room as if like EMS just brought them in.
That's partly why they instituted regular drills in the ER.
Hello?
Always with COVID in mind.
We need to react to it the way we would normally.
Keeps everyone alert because everything is harder now.
Just your tank is empty, so you keep trying to muster up some of that energy that you had the first time around, and it's harder this time. And the challenge is that the onslaught has already begun, and we're seeing a lot of people that are quite sick, people that are needing us to intervene and do some of those procedures that we know are riskier, and so it demands more of us.
This day, Dr. Nimji gets called to see a woman who might not understand she has the virus.
So do you understand that you have COVID?
I don't know. Now, not yet. Okay, now.
I'm going to use the computer to help us translate a little bit. Your COVID test was positive. Do you know that?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Your headache and your cough?
Yeah.
So all that is coming from your COVID infection.
The language barrier is a problem and not the only one.
Can you tell me right now about your living situation?
I single, okay.
Okay. Do you have a place to live?
Sleep?
Yeah.
Sometimes sleep, sometimes no sleep. I don't know.
You need help to have a place to live, is that right?
Yeah.
This woman doesn't want her identity revealed, is afraid of being shunned for being sick. It seems she had to leave the home where she was staying when she became symptomatic.
Yeah, now I see, now I don't know where to go, where, I don't know.
You don't know where to go?
Yeah, I'm tired, yeah.
Yeah, very tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beyond treating her, Dr. Nimji now has to help find her a shelter hotel where she can isolate and recover safely.
No money.
Right, no money. You don't have to pay so that you can stay somewhere safe.
Yeah.
You can sleep there, and there is a doctor there.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
She leaves her to sleep with fluids and something for her fever. As much as the whole world is talking about COVID, curiously, they see a lot of denial in their patients.
There are some people that don't really think COVID will affect them. They're shocked. Some of them still kind of in disbelief. Some of them still not really understanding what the implications are to those that were exposed to them during that time period that they were symptomatic.
As COVID courses through communities, it doesn't spare the hospital.
So staff in the hospital are sick with COVID?
There are staff in the hospital, in every hospital, that have COVID. And so that means they can't work, of course, right? And so that's a huge issue for us, is that you might have a bed, but that bed has to be staffed.
They're trying to show up to keep spirits up. Sometimes the patient's stories help. His does. Gilbert Ramos, an airport worker in his 40s, healthy until he wasn't. Those tubes in his neck, part of his now daily dialysis. Sitting there, you wouldn't know COVID nearly killed him. It all started with feeling off one day.
I called my manager not to come. But I don't tell them that I'm not feeling well or sick because, you know, if they know that you're sick or like that, then they think that you have the COVID-19. So,
were you afraid that you'd lose your job, or?
Yes, of course, because that's the only thing that my financial source.
Days later, short of breath, he and his wife came to the hospital. Almost immediately, he started vomiting blood.
Well, you must have been terrified to vomit blood.
Yes. So all the nurses, just like they're all terrified, they are nervous, they are screaming because it's just like I'm vomiting blood already. So that is the last time I remember.
He doesn't remember being transferred to another hospital to be put on life support, a serious step above ventilation, a last resort, really. He vaguely remembers being back in Humber's ICU, but he definitely remembers the hallucinations.
There's some people around me that this wants to get me.
Really?
Yes. And then, but I'm still like, feel like, no, I can do it. Because there's two things that came to my mind, to fight or to give up. But I realized I have family that is waiting for me. That's why I have to fight.
But was it close to give up? Like, were you close to saying?
Yes, I already think about it. It's just like I'm tired already. I'm tired. No more. It's okay. Yes.
He is recovering, but like a lot of younger patients, COVID ravaged his kidneys. He now fears being shamed for having it.
So it's really, really hard for me. So the adjustment now for me is how to adjust to deal with people.
You think people will be afraid of you or treat you differently?
That's gonna be my worries, yeah.
Okay, but you're at emergency.
Back in the ER, a bit of good news for the older woman. The hospital has found her a shelter hotel to stay with a doctor on site.
Feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need any pill, okay?
Yeah.
Her fever's down, breathing better. There's hope she'll heal with rest.
You're going out this way, okay?
So she's on her way. A school bus, her transportation to the shelter. They're all trying hard to be hopeful and energetic. It's tough, which is why when there's a hint of something amazing, they're all in. We get called back to the hospital a few days later because there's good news for Gilbert. He's going home. 33 days after arriving, after being put on life support. He's changed, still healing, but this is remarkable.
Come back and visit, but not as a patient.
And for an exhausted hospital staff who needs something to celebrate, this is a really good day. And so in case you were curious about the older woman, we've checked in. They were worried that she'd have to go back to the hospital, that maybe her symptoms would get worse, but she's okay. She's recovering well, and she's still at that shelter hotel.
That's good news. Okay, up next, we're going to put more of your questions on the COVID-19 vaccine to our doctors, including this one.
What percentage of the population will need to take the vaccine in order for it to be effective?
The answer right after the break. Welcome back. The world is one step closer to mass vaccination against COVID-19. The UK has approved the use of Pfizer's RNA vaccine, and people there could start getting it within days.
And so we know this topic is on your mind. We were flooded with questions about the vaccine during our special virtual town hall last night. So we wanted to go back to some of those questions and get you some answers.
Yeah, so joining us, two infectious diseases experts, Dr. Susie Hoda and Dr. Lisa Barrett. Hello to the two of you. And we're going to start with what I think is a really important but also a fascinating question. This one came into us via email from Scott. Dr. Hoda, maybe I'll have you take this one. Once vaccinated,
Sure.
can a person still be a carrier? And I mean, that would be so important because, I mean, if they can, I mean, what does that mean for folks who don't get vaccinated?
Right. So what we know is that it appears as though these vaccines that we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks are highly efficacious at preventing symptomatic infection. But what we don't truly know is how well can they protect people from asymptomatic or mild infections. And it is possible that if you're not as well protected from those asymptomatic or mild infections, that people could continue to transmit or shed the virus as well. And therefore others around them could be able to pick it up from them, even though they themselves will be protected from a real symptomatic infection. So, I mean, I think it's important to keep it in context. Our main goal here is to protect the public from experiencing the impacts of COVID-19. So even a vaccine that protects against symptomatic disease and not so much the transmission will have a big impact on this pandemic.
Right, puts greater importance in your mind on everyone getting the vaccine. Dr. Barrett, can you take this next question? This is coming from Chris.
My concern regarding the COVID-19 vaccine arises from the fact that my wife is immune compromised. She has been told that she cannot tolerate a live virus. I would like to know if any of the proposed vaccines are live viruses.
Okay, so are any of them live viruses or would otherwise pose a danger for folks with compromised immune systems?
Right, so there's many vaccines that are in development at the moment, and 3 that have been particularly relevant to the Canadian context because they're being considered for approval. 2 of them are not live vaccines, so they do not contain live virus. Those are the RNA virus or RNA vaccines, and those ones are not live. And as far as we know at the moment, those are not a risk for people who are immunocompromised. The other vaccine that's being considered is one that contains a live virus. And for the most part, especially given that there are going to be options, that's not at the moment a vaccine that we'd recommend for people who are immunocompromised. Still gaining lots of information, but a great thing that there are options for people who can't take live viral vaccines. So lots of options coming up, and there'll be more in the future.
Right, and I guess at the point where a person would be getting a vaccine, they would know one way or the other which vaccine they're getting.
Absolutely. So this would be when we're talking about rolling out vaccines across the country, not in a clinical trial where you may not know what you're getting,
right.
But this would be when you know what's in the actual vaccine that you're getting on a given day when you go in to see your provider.
Adrian, we've got lots more questions.
Tons more questions. There's a lot of anxiety at the basis of them, but a lot of engagement. We're hearing from a lot of kids, and thanks to the Kids of Canada for sending in questions. Here's one for you, Dr. Barrett from Arif.
Will Canadians be forced to get the vaccine?
What we know about vaccines in Canada is that we give people choices. We like to put out good information for folks about the benefits, and if there are any, some questions and concerns about vaccines. We don't have any questions or concerns at the moment, and if these get approved, we would highly recommend that people get the vaccine, but we don't make it so that you have to get it. There are certainly populations of folks where we strongly suggest it in long-term care, people who are healthcare workers, or for folks who are in schools and other living situations where you're close to other people, as well as the general public. So great question, but in Canada, we definitely give you choices. We just hope you make some really informed and good ones.
Well, smart kids like Arif will do just that. So here's another one for you, Dr. Hoda. This is from Carl.
Given that we know the vaccine will be delivered next year, my question is, what percentage of the population will need to take the vaccine in order for it to be effective? And will there be additional booster shots required in future years?
So Dr. Hoda, again, additional booster shots in future years? Good question.
The overall bottom line is the more, the better. So whether you're talking about reducing transmission risk at a big public sort of population level, or about, the concept of the more people get immunized, the more individual protection there is for all, the more the better. So we would highly recommend that everyone get it. In terms of how long your immunity would last, we don't know yet. There's still a lot to learn about these vaccines coming out and whether you're going to need booster shots, and if that's going to be something that might vary depending on age or other sort of health conditions that might mean that it won't last as long.
Okay, good answer. Thanks very much.
Doctors, I love that you allow us to tap into your expertise. So thank you so much to Dr. Susie Hoda and Dr. Lisa Barrett.
Okay, and you can keep sending us your questions. We will keep tracking down some answers. Email covid@cbc.ca. And after the break, Christmas tree sales are booming. We look at why.
But first, we've been asking you to share your stories of hope this year. We call it Take That 2020. And here's one you sent in about what one Ontario business decided to do with its own Christmas trees.
Canadian Tire was going to donate a 2-foot tree for every resident of the home. I would like to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, because it means the world to my mother. Her world is so small. And to have something like this and to see that smile that I don't see too often is amazing.
Canadian Tire gave 100 trees to the home, which meant each resident got one. If you see a story you think the rest of Canada should know about, let us know. Message us on Instagram or email thenational@cbc.ca. We'll be right back.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, wars and revolutions did not stop Russia's famous Bolshoi Theater from staying open, but COVID-19 did. We get a behind-the-scenes look at its reopening. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
One of those images we'll probably never forget from 2020, toilet paper shelves in the grocery store empty. But as we get closer to the holidays, there's another product in high demand. Christmas trees. Alison Northcott explains why there's a shortage and why you might want to keep an open mind.
December has barely begun, but already Christmas tree sales at this market are soaring.
This is a record year for us right now.
Giancarlo Bono says demand is so overwhelming they could sell out.
People, they need the joy. They need to get out of the house. They need to celebrate. I think there's a lot of people going through a hard time this year.
The Canadian Christmas Tree Growers Association says demand is up 25% across the country as many plan their stay-at-home holidays.
It's my first time living away from my parents, so having a tree is very important because it just reminds me of home.
There's a lot of people not traveling, so they're here for Christmas and they're going to be buying Christmas trees.
This year it seems to be more meaningful than ever. I mean, I think we need that. We need the joy that it brings.
Canada exports more than 2 million Christmas trees a year, mostly to the U.S. And growers say with production there down, demand for Canadian trees is up. The shortage is linked in part to the economic crisis in 2008 that prompted some producers to plant fewer trees that would have been ready to sell today.
So that's what we're seeing today is those trees that we're not planting back in the days are now being represented today in the market.
In Nova Scotia, some growers can't keep up.
We're maxed over what we can supply, and that's been a change this year. We've been unable to fill requests.
And one retailer says he can't find any to sell.
I couldn't believe it. It's the first time, I've been doing this for 35 years, and it's the first Christmas we're not going to have Christmas trees.
Still, growers say there are enough trees for their Canadian customers, but say people may need to choose a different variety this year and go a little further afield to find it. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Okay, when we come back, what one boy in Edmonton has been cooking up during the pandemic and how his winning chicken recipe came to be. It's next in our moment. Dong Dao Xiao is 11 years old, but don't let his age fool you. This kid can cook. He put his skills to the test entering a cooking competition, and he won. The story behind his victory is our moment.
There was this program called the Kids Food Nation. I was signed up for it and then later signed up for the contest. During the contest, I wanted to make something from chicken. And we're in COVID, so I named it Pandemic Chicken. This cookbook features all the other kids who won the Kids Food Nation contest. I too am in this cookbook. I know that the other contestants who won this contest are great chefs. I made the pandemic chicken so that, as well, the name suggests that it has chicken, but I also added vegetables there to make a well-balanced meal. I'm gonna hope that I'm in more cookbooks, and I think, eventually have my own cookbook.
It's a pandemic chicken. And I'm looking at the recipe online. I mean, it's got, curry powder, cumin, but simple enough that even I could cook it, I think.
And make an extra share.
Yes,
for me.
of course.
So interesting thing about him, he says he doesn't actually want to be a chef. He wants to be a doctor. But he knows that he can incorporate cooking into it because people feel better, get better when they feel better. Good food makes them feel better. He's got the whole package.
Very smart.
That is a national for December the 2nd.
Good night.